Hi, I just got a tax rebate. Do you want to go to dinner? Although I have a lot of empathy for Frances, I feel like my experience of my 20s were really different from hers. I mean, I had a lot more luck in a lot of ways, but I think that there's definitely a core of it that it's odd. I feel like there's a core of it that I really relate to, and then there's details that I know are like I know there's some moments that are very detailed that are taken from my own life.
I asked you to move in with me. You said no.
But I can't.
You can. You don't want to.
What do you do?
It's kind of hard to explain.
Because what you do is complicated?
Because I don't really do it.
I discovered modern dance in college, and I was never great at it, but I loved watching it, and I really loved these women who were these dancers, and really it was a kind of their story that I was drawing from, because I knew people who, when they graduated from college, became apprentices at modern dance companies, and then never joined the company. They stayed apprentices, and then at some point they had to kind of cut their losses. And I just thought that was so heartbreaking, but so necessary. And like, how much presence of mind does it take to say, like, I'm not doing it anymore. I can't do it. And it's like, oh, how do you give it up?
How was it with your own career? Because you had this kind of great early rush with the sort of mumblecore movement of Hannah Takes the Stairs, and then there was a point where it was almost like the mainstream was kind of eating you up in films like No Strings Attached and Arthur. Was that a good feeling? Was that where you thought you wanted your career to go at that point, or not?
Well, in some ways I think from the minute I graduated college till now, it's a lot of it was just trying to, I mean, there was very little pre-architecture to what happened. I mean, I think actors often, the parts that they play is, unless you're in an incredibly privileged position, most of the parts they play are just things that I got.
It's that thing when you're with someone and you love them and they know it and they love you and you know it, but it's a party and you're both talking to other people and you're laughing and shining, and you look across the room and catch each other's eyes, but not because you're possessive or it's precisely sexual, but because that is your person in this life. And it's funny and sad, but only because this life will end, and it's the secret world that exists right there in public, unnoticed, that no one else knows about.
So when you're in those big mainstream movies, is there a part of you that's thinking, Jesus Christ, I could write better than this, but I can't do anything. I've still got to say these lines.
I can't answer that question because, no, I mean, sometimes they let you rewrite the ones. I can't talk about it because I feel like I don't want to.
I'm not talking specifically about anything.
I always feel nervous because it's like, I think sometimes, you know, sometimes the experience of making something is great and the movie is not as great as the experience was, and sometimes it's vice versa. So, but yeah, certainly there have been times on set where I'm like, seriously, I have to say this right now? And you just have to turn your brain off and say, like, I'm gonna say these words. But that's usually when I'm not acting well. I mean, I think for me, sometimes you have to say a line that you don't understand or you don't think is good, but hopefully not that much.
You know, to fear and anxiety and pain.
They seem so together now.
The world is problematic, you know, for him. And I think that, you know, we can imagine it all.
Mr. Grew, Agent Lucy Wilde of the Anti-
I could pretty much excel at whatever I want.